Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course from New Earth One Network. This is designed exclusively for your higher self connection and embodiment.
Blessings, this is Jules, and I have Kathy Reed with me, and we are going to talk a little today about the evolution journey cards and a workshop that we have recorded teaching the different layers of reading the cards. And so you're listening to New Earth One, and Lauren Gailey has offered us the opportunity to record this and send it to everyone. So I hope that you take the journey with us as we move through the rabbit hole of the evolution journey deck. And I say that because it truly brings you into that quantum field and pours in cosmic energy and allows you to tap into the universal energy of numbers. Kathy, do you want to add to that?
And what we've noticed is the cards have an intelligence of their own. And it's like it just supports you. And whatever your intention is when you use the cards, it'll just come right in and harmonically support you in your next.
I love that. So let's talk a little bit about what the evolution journey cards are. So Kathy has been a friend of mine. We're sisters. I say that we're from the same star. We just have this really beautiful connection. And I called to her to see if she wanted to come for a visit. And when we first put the visit together, we thought we were going to be working on something completely different. And by the time she showed up, we were getting the guidance to create an evolution card deck. And so we started channeling the cards and held the space for each other for, what was it, like 3 days?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the end of the 3 days, we had created the entire deck. And this is what came through for Spirit to really take what it is to do a reading, but move it into that abstract place and connecting it to the universal language. But by doing that, when the reading is occurring, that the reader or the person that is having the reading done for them begins to be coded. And this is done through, some of you know the evolution symbol. So I'm going to just hold it up here. So this is the evolution symbol. And each spot holds a very specific frequency pattern. And when the cards are laid out on the pattern, the numbers begin to work together. That's what Kathy calls the harmonics, is they all work together and begin to code the person that's either doing the reading for themselves or the person that's receiving the reading to hold the future pattern at the highest frequency available. And then we're able to read the information of the numbers that are harmonically working together to amplify with awareness of what that future pattern is. Do you want to add a little to that?
Yeah, I want to kind of define what harmonics are. If any of you have anything to do with music, I've been doing music since I was a little girl. And that's why I really know harmonics. It's like when you get together with other people with instruments, you have to learn in order to play your notes. That's what each note is built on the other, which is the harmonics. And that's what I'm seeing in the cards, is that harmonic that it's like, oh, it's just a beautiful thing. It's like one note will hit and then there'll be harmonics. It's like listening to voices where they're in sync and in harmony, because there's disharmony where everything's just in random, or there's that harmonic place that each number builds on the other, and music and harmonics are a perfect match.
I absolutely love that. The other thing I love about using that word harmonics is that place of flow as well. And when we tap into the flow, especially when we're being coded to be within that flow and we have the awareness of the flow, it just does that. We have the miracle pattern that we talk about quite a bit. And that's really when we start to meet the miracle pattern. And what I love about everything that we do is that we create tools to support existing in that miracle pattern, because it isn't always easy to kind of stay in more of those abstract frequencies. But when we start to use coding as a way of creating this journey with the divine, we organically begin to move into those frequencies and feel very supported in them, because the divine is supporting us in moving into our next consistently. And not only are we being supported, but we're being encouraged to really go big. It's time. We're all here to go big. So let's see. I'm feeling as though let's do a reading. So we're going to do a double reading between Kathy and I, and we're going to do a reading on the energetics of 2022, a year of collaboration, expansion, and definitely a lot of creation going on. And so we're going to do a universal reading, and we're really going to focus on that creation piece and evolution piece, kind of really moving into those higher frequencies, whether that's cosmic energy, divine energy, whatever you want to call it. But those energies are amplifying at a huge rate. I mean, we are being poured into right now, and we want to be very intentional about what we're doing in these energies. And so what we're going to do is, as you're listening to this reading, take it in a very personal way, because even though we're doing it as a universal reading, something in this reading is directed just towards you. So take a moment right now to maybe set a little bit of an intention of where in your life you're wanting to have more information about it. And then as we go through this reading, kind of reflect on your intention and receive the information of how to shift that into the highest frequency pattern for you as we go through this, because this can be a personal journey for everyone in this moment. Do you have anything to add to that, Kathy?
That's perfect, because I think that everybody that's listening is going to get what they need out of this. But I really feel it's important that you kind of set sort of an intention. You don't have to get very real specific, but just set the intention of where you want for 2022.
I love that. I call it a soft intention, so that the intention can shift a little bit if it feels like it's leading you somewhere else. So, but before we do that, why don't we just do a little attunement, get everybody into their hearts and open to receiving, and then we'll go ahead and start the double reading. So let's place our hands on our hearts and just taking in a deep breath. Breathing in through the nose. You can see a beautiful white blue light trace along the brain and down through the spine and out through the mouth. We're just raising the frequency of the spinal fluid, activating divine ions, allowing these ions to move across the brain, and activating the part of the mind to where you are fully receiving with clarity and guidance, and allowing the ions to move throughout your body, raising the frequency of every cell and every molecule as you become attuned to the divine frequency. Just allowing yourself to surrender to this energy, knowing that you are safe and protected, guided and supported. And just take in one deep breath and just saying to yourself that you are ready to receive the codes to the highest evolution of your future pattern. And then we'll say thank you. I love you. It is done. Well, I'm excited to see what comes through. So Kathy, we'll have you start with the first card, and then I will pick a card and we'll just go through the reading. So the very first card is going to be for the energetic pattern of where you are now. So this is the energy that you are holding as an individual.
And the card I got is a 15, and this is just telling us where you're reflecting right now that your DNA is actually changing at a molecular level.
Ooh, chills. So DNA is changing. I also am getting I was gonna say getting that shift. So I got the 10, which is that embodiment of the new. It's the embodiment, and I love embodiment of the new because our bodies are changing with these frequencies that are coming through. And in that, I'm also getting that those that are on this journey with us, those that are kind of that soul family kind of frequency, are going to kind of really start coming together in a way that they maybe haven't in the past. And that's that collaboration piece, is when two or more gather, that kind of energy. So maybe some star seeds will start working together, or way showers come together to create things. But it's done from this place of fully stepping into holding the embodiment or that sovereignty piece of who you are as the individual, and then sharing that in reflection with others. And the other thing about the 10, which I absolutely love, and Kathy brought this through in the workshop, is that the placeholder, that 0, holds a space for us to get a little bit more information. Do you want to pull a card for that, Kathy?
Yeah, I will. And it's a 5.
Ooh. Beautiful. Okay.
And so what that tells me is the 10, which is bringing up the 5, is part of what has been on the planet for a long, long time, for 2.5 years, is the COVID. And this 5 is promising sovereignty, freedom, and that is that whole frequency that's held in the collective is going to lessen. We're going to move on past that.
That gave me chills. I'm also hearing that place of, it's the change. It's that, and it's in that change in this first embodiment, or this first awakening card, because the way the cards are let out, they all have a specific frequency. And so the 5 is the awakening of change. So this is where I see when we're coming together and creating these collaborations in that place of embodiment, that we start to awaken those around us. And that starts to create kind of a global shift and a global change. As more and more people awaken, it just taps us up in even more to that space of awakening, that all of these frequencies are here to support us in doing that. So if that calls out to you, invite the divine to come in and show you what your specific brilliance is in the support of this awakening, because this is all about the collaborative effort of awakening. All right.
And the fact that so many of us have been asking, what is my mission? What am I supposed to be here for? Well, this invites you to allow that to come in.
You know what I'm getting? This has just been such a strong message that I've had these last few days, because I've had a lot of people asking me that. And I think it's the same every single time you're doing it. You focusing on your personal ascension and sharing that in the most vulnerable and transparent way with others is what you're here for. Nothing else matters. All the rest of it is how we get to play in that. And if that, and we get to do that and whatever lights us up. But gosh, I would say I've been doing this for maybe 1.5 to 2 years, is every morning I wake up, I say, use me as a channel of divine frequency. What do you want me to do today? And then the whole entire day, I let the divine show up and show me the way. And that, gosh, life is magical in that way. That's these cards that we just pulled, is how are you seeing yourself? The divine channel. Okay, let's move on. So the second card is the reflection card.
I got the 6. And that's exactly, it just affirms what we just talked about with having that 6, because it's a collaboration on a beautiful level. We have a Activate Evolution platform that the people there are so supportive. We are just supporting everybody else as they're finding their place. It's like you can be vulnerable, you can come in, somebody will support you. It's like we have a really strong core group that are right there with us.
I love that. And this came through one of the card readings I can remember, is that it also can mean that reflection piece is letting go of maybe some relationships that aren't supporting our highest good. And I felt like somebody needed to hear that. And knowing that when we release those old energies, that is when we have the opportunity to truly move into soul family. And this is the awakening of this. So what is the universe showing you? It's showing you when you shut the door on low frequency relationships, high frequency relationships come in for you. All right, so let's see what the supporting card is. And it's the 7, which is the awakening to channeling information. It's the awakening piece of when we kind of put our agenda aside and we start to hear the messages of the divine. And that's what the universe, the reflection piece is showing, is the willingness or the awareness of the difference between the two. So it's that awakening piece of, am I listening to my heart or am I listening to fear and ego? And so that's the reflection piece that is really important for us all to be starting to tap into, is which one am I listening to? And then we'll go in to see what happens next. Do you have something to add?
Yes, I do. With that 7, through the last few years, we've all been involved with the ego and the ego mind, trying to survive, struggling. And this particular reflection piece with the 6 and the 7 is inviting us into a higher frequency, working with your higher self to totally shift that struggling mentality. It's like now, it's like that has stopped, that thing that is in our ears, and it's just over and over and over again. Now we're getting that into that still small voice, to where we can really tap in to the to the 7, which is your spirituality.
Yeah, spiritual growth. Okay, so let's go to, this is one of my favorite cards, and this is the card of, it's either what is the divine showing you that you aren't seeing already, or what is being shown, how it's being shown through the divine eyes. So we can kind of see it both ways, and that's what I love about this card, because it's both.
Okay. The card I got is the 13, which the 13 is all about the embodiment level of building that foundation. Because if you look at the journey we've taken with what you are and what you're reflecting, this 13 just seems like it just comes in to build the foundation with your practice that you're doing every day. It's going to build. The divine is showing you, just keep doing your practice, because it's going to come in and strengthen you.
I love that. I'm also getting that even if you feel like you're lost, know that the foundation is being laid underneath you, even if you can't see it yet. It's that trust the divine is saying. Okay, so my support card on that, I have another 0, so we'll pull another card, is the 30, which is the mastery of that place of allowing creation to flow through you. So it's not the 33, which is when we kind of meet the mastery of the creator and the creation, but this is that place where I just love this card too. It's just so much wisdom in this card of how no matter what's going on around us and how things are coming together and interweaving, that still small, that still voice, and that still the other word that's coming through is it's being in creation in a way where we're not looking at the future or the past. So, okay, that's the message that the divine is saying. We're all kind of being thrown into this abstract place where some of us are like, what am I doing here? And what's happening in the world? We're all looking for a sure foot so that we feel safe and that we know where we're going. And the divine's saying, we're done with that. In the new earth, you stay in creation and you don't get to know where you're going. And so we're shedding away that reflection of, well, what did I do in the past? We're not looking there anymore. We're not projecting into the future. And this is the card where the divine is saying, be in creation. The foundation is there. It's going to feel different now than it did in the past. Safety is going to feel different. It's going to be, safety is trust. That's your new safety.
And it's that new, and it's just going, okay, I'm hanging out here in that unknown space, and it's perfection. You're right where you need to be.
Right where you need to be. And the more we surrender and trust to that, the more our new foundation in that place of not having solid ground underneath our feet actually becomes comfortable, because we know that when we're in that space, we're in flow. Let's see what the supporter card is for that one. It was the 30. So let's do the 0 card.
Okay. Do you want me to do it, or are you going to pull it? Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Got it right here. This is the 16.
That just gave me chills. Okay. Pulled that card one. I love this card because it's that space where when we embody what it feels like to become that channel of information from the divine, everything just overflows. It's just like life gets magical. And you can see, do you want to hold it up one more time so that people can see that? It's you kind of breaking out of that. Gosh, it's just so beautiful. Breaking the boundaries, breaking through entrapment, freedom. So
And what I'm also being led to is the 1. which is your leadership, your pioneership in the new earth. And then the 6, again, you got the 6, which is soul family. So you're taking it to a whole new level with
Leadership
that pattern.
of soul family, or even leadership of those that are ready. It's speaking up, being that channel, allowing the divine to bring information through you, staying in creation, knowing the foundation is right there for you, and being bold in that. So it's speaking out and letting people know that you matter and what your experience matters, because people are looking for, how do I exist in this place? So starting to speak up about that is important.
And as I know some of you know the 100th monkey. It's just like the ones that we got on the platform, we're moving forward. And as we grow, we're reaching millions of people. It's like we had to start, and it's like it's going to grow exponentially, because that's how the quantum moves. It's like it'll go here and then here and then here, and that's what we're creating here. And it started last year, but it's really taking hold in 2022.
I love it. Okay, so I mean, gosh, the divine had so much to support us in with this card, but we'll go ahead and move to the next symbol, which is divine support in holding that place of being in creativity on your new platform and truly being that channel.
Okay, the card that we chose is the 12.
Mm.
And what that 12 says to me is you can't do it wrong. It's whatever you decide, it's perfect for you, because the divine's going to come in and support. You could change course right in the middle of this, and it's perfect. There's no sense in beating yourself up, because all of these, if you look at this card, you've got all the possibilities, and then you have all the different ways, and it can come from anywhere. And it's saying, we have you, whatever you decide, we are going to support you totally.
I love it. And then I got the 17, so it's the embodiment of the 8. And then we have that 1 with the 7, lots of 7s in this. So what that tells me is it's really time to tune out from media and tune in to that divine frequency. That's going to be your direct channel to the information that is for you. It's for you, and that bypasses all the interference. So this is also the embodiment of the 8, which is fully embodying what it means to exist in that flow state. One of my favorite sayings is, be the change. And that doesn't mean be the change that you want to see in the world. That means when that change happens in your life, that you actually meet that change and just move with the change instead of resisting the change. And then in that way, you can actually disintegrate the change, or you're not in that resistance pattern of the change, which is flow. And it's the resistance to the change that causes us pain. And that doesn't mean that we can't step outside to make decisions on whether or not an energy needs to move a new way, but we're doing it from a place of that direct guidance from the divine. I have a saying that it's only a yes if it's a divine yes, and that we never say yes until that divine clicks in and we know without a doubt that this is where I'm going. Because then after we say something yes in that divine frequency, if we go into doubt, we remember, where did I actually say yes from? I cannot doubt the divine frequency. So we settle back in and we refocus and we move into the place of trust, and we continue on the path of our divine yes. It's the most powerful way to stay in creation.
I see it as, so here's the divine, and it's right over top, and then you're together, and then you can just navigate. When you hit the frequency of resistance, you just go, okay, stop. And then you move out of that, move up, and then allow the divine to just fill you.
Let it pour in. I love it. Okay, so now let's go to my other very favorite position, and that is particles of possibility. So when we allow ourselves to stay in this creation and know that the foundation is under us, we open up to the channel of grace and become the flow. We move into the first part of the expanded evolutionary pattern, which is the particles of possibility.
We got the 4, which is this is like building the new foundation. It's awakening to a new level, not necessarily awakening, but awakening to a new level, as we did with the journey that the cards that we picked already. This is very strong. This is a very strong, okay, I'm building this in a totally different way than I ever had before.
I love it. That just gave me chills too. Okay, and oh, I got the 26, which is the mastery level of the 8. So the divine is supporting us by calling in flow and giving us, when we go into resistance, we just ask the divine, pour into me, pour into me, pour into me, guide me, guide me, guide me. And when we do that, we move into particles of possibility of the mastery of the 8. This is ultimate abundance. This is having everything at this is the Midas touch. This is that space of, where is your magic wand? It's time to pull it out. So this is where we're moving into possibilities, when we really open ourselves up to being in creation, listening to divine guidance, following through with divine guidance, doing that in a leadership way, inviting soul family in. You guys, this is a powerful, amazing year. I love this card. Can you tell?
And 26 also, if you notice it, it's the cosmos. It's like opening up the cosmos to bring in and to support you. The divine, definitely, but it's with that 26, it has that cosmos feel, the galactic feel.
I love it. You know what else I'm seeing in this is so much what I'm feeling just with the energies coming in. I was telling Kathy right before we started recording, I feel like someone just opened up that, opened up our, what do you call it? The atmosphere, and the stars and the cosmos, these galactic energies are just pouring into us right now. That's what I feel in that. And when we get those really high frequencies that are coming in to support ascension, we want to use it. So these particles of possibility is, what in your life do you want to bring into the probabilities, because right now it's in possibility, into abundance, whether that's a relationship, love, money, a new job. Let yourself play in what it would be like to be able to ask the divine to come in to guide you and showing you the way of how to reach those intentions, because it's not about you, it's about what the divine wants to bring into you. And then at the same time, allowing yourself to be open. I'm just going to say this really quick. What I love about setting intentions is that if we're here, when we set an intention, we immediately create a frequency pattern at a higher frequency than where we are. Once that intention is created, we let it go. And then we invite the divine to come in, and we just say, show me. And we open ourselves up as that channel. And then we take the journey to where we think that we're going to reach the intention. But so often what happens is that we get shifted and we start moving in directions that we would have never chosen for ourselves. And then once we hit the frequency of where we laid that intention, once we get there, it's so much better than we could have ever done through using our ego mind to get there. That's what this card is about. Take out the magic wand, ask for more than what you think that you can have. Allow yourself to move into your highest potential. Magical year. Okay, so now we're into probability. So we're in probability.
Two. And that tells me exactly where we are in this year. The new frequency pattern is to be open to new collaborations, things that you would have never thought of before. Open up and go, let's entertain that. The divine, show me what that is, because that too is like opening the door for you.
It is. It's that coming into the new. All right. So then I got the 18. I love this card. Just look how fun this card is. All right. So this is the embodiment of the 9. So the embodiment of the 9 is the frequency of the divine. So when we embody the frequency of the divine, everything that we see is divine. Everything we see is beautiful. Everything we see is perfect. This is putting on the divine eyes. It's listening with the divine ears. It's loving with the divine heart. It's having thoughts of the divine mind. I'm seeing this image where we're all just like putting on the divine hat and allowing that hat to really integrate into all of our senses, and that to where we actually live in the sensory expression of the divine. What would our lives look like? So those particles of possibility that are bringing in abundance is showing us that the most abundant state is that when we fully embody that we are the divine frequency. We are the way. We are the way showers. We are the change makers. We are the ones that will create the change in the world. And it's not going to come from the ego mind. It's not going to come by looking at things that have already been created in form. It's going to be about creating the new earth by following divine guidance. Magic happens. So powerful. Well, should we have you do an activation with these numbers? Did you write down my numbers or do I need to give them to
Yes,
you?
I got them.
Oh,
I got them.
of course you did.
So what I want to do is just to get in a relaxed state. Take a few deep breaths, because what we're going to do is we're going to set this in to your structure, into who you are, so that it can shine. Take a few deep breaths, and we're going to see that white blue light, and it's a beautiful, just transparent light, and it's going to trace over the brain. It's going to enter the spinal column, and it's going to raise the frequency of the spinal column, and then you're going to breathe that out. We're going to do this 3 times. So this is the second time. So take that breath and breathe in. Run it, just see it run over the head and into the spinal fluid, so that it raises the frequency to the highest frequency that it is for you. And we're going to breathe out. This is the last time. We're going to take that breath and breathe it in, and then we're going to trace it over the top of our head into the spinal fluid, and then we're going to watch that spinal fluid raise in frequency. Now we're going to see all of your body. All of the body contains the hydrogen atom. We're going to see that hydrogen atom come right up to the high heart, and we're going to see it. And if you can't see it, imagine it. Imagine that hydrogen atom, a first particle of our periodic table. We're going to see what we're going to do with this is we're going to see these numbers. We've broken the numbers down into the lowest number except so we've got the numbers. We don't need to see them. We don't need to know them. We're just going to see this string of numbers. And it's going to come through the back side of the hydrogen atom, through the center. through that nucleus. We're going to watch it pull through. And as it's pulling through, it's grabbing hold of any of the divine DNA that's ready to express for you. We're just going to pull that number through. And then as it's pulled through and it's sitting in that master cell of the heart, we're going to see the rainbow frequencies. Each color is a frequency, and we're going to see it just bathe in, just like a shower, just like you would have a rain shower. The rainbow frequencies are just going to shower this code as it's being said in the body. Now we're going to take that hydrogen atom, and we're going to see, as we've got this new code in, we're going to see it start to spin slightly. And as it's spinning, it's going to be with the velocity of each one of you. It's going to spin for you. So as that hydrogen atom starts to spin, we're going to watch it download and sequence into every cell and molecule of your body. We're going to watch this for a couple of seconds as it's setting in and locking into place. Thank you. I love you. It is done.
It is done. So the future pattern of 2022. The ground will never feel the same. We are truly raising in frequency. We are being poured into by these galactic and divine frequencies. It's time to pull out the magic wand, let the divine flow through you, and watch everything move into the frequency of perfection, and trusting that the perfection is there always. We are in the ultimate divine design right now. This is what you came here for. It is time, and all of us are saying it, and now it's time to come together and reflect for each other what these possibilities are. It's beyond words. So we want to invite you all into a workshop. So the Evolution Journey deck is a physical deck that is available to anyone that is interested in taking reading into that galactic field and truly tapping into the universal language and using this language to code the body as you're receiving the reading. And we are offering a workshop teaching you how to move into being able to read the Evolution Journey deck for yourself. And we recommend doing a reading about once a week and upgrading your codes. And we've been seeing people just have amazing shifts. And what's so super fun is that the more you read the cards, the more they kind of take on an intelligence and start to speak through you. And before you know it, you're going to be putting the book away, and you're going to be really tapping into that universal intelligence. It's a beautiful way to kind of tap into divine guidance and enhance your clairs. I think that's one of my favorite things about it, is that it's working on so many levels, but the base level that is actually supporting you is this evolution symbol. This evolution symbol is holding the code for evolution. It's literally working with your DNA. And when you place the cards with the numbers, the evolution symbol begins to activate those numbers and start to speak to you. And the more you play with the cards and the more you do the readings, the more you start to speak the universal language. And then you start taking that language and that collaboration into your daily life. Do you have anything to add to that, Kathy?
What I can say is that it is just such a special frequency to have this in your everyday life. Because before we always compartmentalized. Well, we go over here to our spiritual thing and we do it, and then we come back out and be in the everyday 3D. This is not what we're meant to do. We're meant to stay in that space all the time. And it's a beautiful space.
that just gave me chills. It's taking out that magic wand, entering the miracle pattern, and really seeing just how magical life can be. And that's what we want to invite you all into. So if this is calling out to you and you feel in your heart that divine yes, we want to invite you into the Evolution Workshop. It is a pre-recorded workshop where you can go and interact within it. You'll have your cards to be able to go through the workshop on your own. And then, of course, we always invite you to reach out for a personal reading as well. And you'll see all the links to be able to do these in Lauren's store here. I think that's all I have. Do you have anything else, Kathy?
Nope.
Beautiful. Well, we're sending you all so much love, and we are wishing you a magical and truly entering the miracle pattern in 2022. We fill you with the rainbow lights as you start to walk the path without a foundation and move into the creation as a vessel of divine frequency. So much love. Bye-bye.